What's up, everyone? A stranger yelling over the Big Brother backyard wall, exposing 2 houseguest games, and also plans for a replacement nominee as the veto ceremony comes near. Welcome to your live feed update. Whilst Ian's name has been thrown around all week as the replacement nominee, even though Kesa is likely still going to be heading out the door, Christmas went to speak to Enzo and volunteered to be a pawn. Now, we all know in Big Brother, obviously the pawn is the person who is intended not to go home, but we all know that this can often flip on its head and the pawn is sent home by accident or even just by a great strategy move that some people may just pull off. And with Christmas on the block, I doubt she'll be sent home if she is put up as the replacement nominee. But there was more revelations in the day as to where that went and if Christmas will be the replacement nominee. But it seems as though it's the case that Christmas probably will be put up. But the question is, does she have the votes to stay? It's very, very likely. But in Big Brother, things can just flip on its head like that. And I know I always say, guys, but expect the unexpected in Christmas. If she is put up as the replacement nominee, she needs to be careful. It's likely case of going home, but you never know. It could just be Christmas. Kevin and Ian had a slight discussion about the veto, and Ian basically congratulated Kevin, and Kevin said, you know what, Ian, if you go up as the replacement nominee, you have my vote to stay. You're not going anywhere. I think Kevin wants to sort of just clean up shop with Kesa and Janelle and get them both out the house so he can start afresh. I feel like Kevin's redesigning and rebuilding his game after he's won this comp, because I don't really think anyone expected him to win the veto comp. So if Kevin can win a few comps now, make a few moves, I said in previous videos that he doesn't really stand a chance now to win the game, but if he can win a couple of comps, make some moves, you know what, his game could be back on track, and he could actually be one of the contenders to win the whole thing. So do you know what, I hope he can pull through. I hope he can do something. I don't think he will, but guys, I think if he can win a couple of comps this and make a couple of moves, he's more than likely a contender for the crown. Tyler has been putting a lot of trust in Danny so far, but not too much trust, as he has expressed to Christmas how he's very worried about the fact that Danny is going in every single person's ear. I've seen you guys comment quite a lot, obviously in the comment section, sort of saying how you think Danny should be exposed very, very soon. You just think she will be exposed very, very soon. And I think the majority of you are right, because the majority of the time with Danny, you know, every single time she talks to someone one-on-one, they sort of spill information to her, but at the same time, straight after that conversation, they go to someone else and go, do you know what, I've been telling Danny this, but I haven't told her everything, because they know that Danny's going to every single last pocket of the house, and she's got a little bit of information from everyone, and it's going to come bite her in the end, because when you do that in Big Brother, it's either you make it to the end and lose, or you just get exposed way too soon. So, you know, there's only been very few people who've actually pulled that strategy off, and Danny doesn't seem to be doing it very well. I think Tyler is a perfect example of someone who can do quite well. Obviously, he didn't win the $500,000 last time, but he seems to be doing exactly the same strategy this time around with a couple of tweaks, yet people are actually onto Danny more so than Tyler. Enzo and Kevin were talking, and they were discussing a trio that they could form with themselves alongside Christmas. Now, this is something that I didn't really see coming, because I think we've seen Enzo and Christmas get along very, very well, but I haven't really seen them mingle that much with Kevin. So if Kevin can solidify himself a trio of house guests there, him being one of them, I feel like that's another step to his ladder to getting back on track to make some great game moves, you know, getting those comp wins and making those strategy moves. I think it's definitely going to benefit his game. Enzo's in a great position, Christmas is in a great position, so I feel like those two, Christmas and Enzo, are probably in some of the best social positions in the house, so to work together is a fantastic move for them. It may put a big target on the back if people crack the alliance, but I feel like they're playing so well socially, people won't twig onto it. Maybe someone like Tyler could do, because Tyler's got an excellent social read, but Kevin he's definitely been thrown a life vest there, being brought in by two of the best social players this season. Christmas was talking to Enzo, and she said that before jury begins next week, she said that the final player they should get rid of in pre-jury should be someone who is seen as a bitter player. Enzo sort of assumed she was talking about Dave Von, so Enzo just rolled with it, and he was happy to say Dave Von could be the next person to go. I think Dave Von and Bailey definitely a watch out next week. I think it's either going to be Dave Von or Bailey being sent packing, or David seems to be a target that's thrown around, or Kevin could be sent home as a mishap of a pawn situation or something like that, but I feel like it's going to be one of those four guys. Unless one of those wins HOH, it's definitely plausible, but the track record so far seems to be that side of the house, the big alliance, winning back-to-back HOHs, so we'll see where it goes, but it seems though those four need to watch the backs next week. Kevin and Christmas joined Enzo in the HOH room, and they basically solidified a final three alliance. Enzo told Kevin he's never putting him up again, and he has both of their backs till the end, so it seems as though Christmas again has got a sort of final three thing going on. She had Paul and Josh last time. This time she's got Enzo and Kevin. We'll see how that one goes. We'll see if they can actually make it to the end, but they listed off the votes that they would have to evict Kesa, because Enzo was just solidifying the fact that Kesa has to go this week, and he said that they would have the votes of Cody, Danny, Tyler, Nicole and Kevin. So that's 5, and the magic number this week is 6 to send them packing, but 5 would cause a tie, with Enzo breaking the tie, sending it says sending Kesa home, so they've got the right amount of votes there. Obviously, it's always nice and comforting to know you've got that 1 or 2 extra to make sure that there's no vote split. But there you go. I mean, it looks solid that they could be sending Kesa home this week. Now for the most talked about moment of the day, and this involved a stranger yelling over the Big Brother wall to several house guests in the backyard. Nicole and Cody are playing everyone. So all of a sudden their backyard went silent. Feeds got cut. House guests got brought inside to ensure that they'd got rid of any sort of intruders off the lot of CBS, the CBS Big Brother set. And that's as far as that went. But I think a lot of people initially assumed the initial buzz on social media was that the house guests didn't hear. But then later in the evening we saw them discussing it. I'll get to that shortly. But we got to them sort of... So a couple of house guests going into doubt, and this is including some of the people who are extremely tight allies with Cody and Nicole. So it seems to have damaged their game ever so slightly, and I think over the next couple of days we're going to see a few people turn on Cody and Nicole, and the paranoia is going to increase very, very high. After that incident in the backyard, Christmas and Davon were discussing the fact that until that evening, until tonight, they had never associated Cody and Nicole with working with each other. So they're quite shook by that, and they're very, very sceptical of what the hell could be going on there. And as a result, they feel a bit worried about Danny as well, because they don't know where her head's at. They've seen Danny hang out with the Cody and Nicole frequently, so I think they're thinking and making the assumption that she's roped in as well. So it seems as though this is definitely throwing a spanner in the works, definitely a wrench in the works. And it just seems fireworks are nearly ready to go off, and I think people are going to be really, really worried about Cody and Nicole as a duo now, because Bailey and Davon have been the duo that everybody have been worried about after the dismissal of Janelle and Kesa being evicted. So it seems as though Cody and Nicole could be the next two duos, or the next duo alongside Bailey and Davon to face the axe, or just be definitely threatened within the house. A sad little moment here, folks. Kesa is beginning to come to his terms that and understand that he's definitely heading out the house this week. He has said that the only person he really stands a chance against staying at, even though the chance is very, very slim, would be David if he was the replacement nominee. But it seems as though with Christmas going up, and even if Ian went up, it just sort of seems his fate is sealed and he's going to be heading home this week. So he's making peace with it, and it looks like he's going to be joining his friend Janelle pre-jury. Bailey and Davon approached Enzo late in the evening, asking him if it would be an idea this week to backdoor Danny. Now, I know it's a very rogue decision to do that, and it's a very courageous and bold move, because I don't think anybody really was thinking of targeting Danny so soon, unless someone like Janelle got HOH. I still don't think Janelle or Kesa would have gone for Danny. I feel like they would have gone for Cody, or someone like even Tyler, and as a result, I just think Bailey and Davon being very ambitious there, but they need to be, and I respect that a lot, because, I think they're sort of at rock bottom now. They're on the outskirts of the alliance, and they're going to be the next to get picked off, so you might as well try and make a big move whilst you can, or otherwise it's going to be too late. But Enzo was sort of, just backing them off, saying, I don't think it's the right time to do it. I think I should leave it until somebody else gets HOH. And I just think he doesn't want to make the move himself. He wants smooth sailing. He wants to do what the house wants and just get rid of public enemy number 1, which is Kesa. At the very end of the evening, the Slick Six assembled and basically concluded at the fact that Christmas will be sent up as the pawn and they will be voting Kesa out of the door. There's no fuss there. They're just making solid plans. There is a few days to go until the eviction. We still have 3 days, so it's easy enough to say this person's going up and we're sending this person out. But a lot can happen in 3 days. But I think it's fair to conclude that Kesa is going to have a massive, massive, gigantic uphill battle. If he wants to stay in the house this week, he's going to have to pull off something miraculous. Or it looks like he's definitely going to be heading out the door. But he's put up a good fight, and we'll see if he can do anything else this week. We'll just hold out and see what can happen. That is all of your game updates for today, folks. It was a very quiet day in regards to Christmas becoming the pawn. That was pretty much all that was talked about until the wall yeller came into the situation and things rocketed a bit more. But I think today is going to be a day where the paranoia ramps up and we're going to be seeing lots of game conversation, which I'm looking forward to. I don't think it's necessarily going to be game talk on this week, but I think weeks to come, and definitely more alliance has been solidified as a result of Nicole and Cody now causing worry in the house as a duo. But there you go, guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. I love making these videos, and I appreciate the support so much. You are all legends. So I'll say my stuff as usual. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next live feed update, guys. I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.